What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 26th day of October, and here we are sitting at about $2.63 now with 9.5 hours left in the day. Moving up a little bit, it's nice to see, right? We do have this kind of consolidation phase here that we are apparently breaking out of today. We'll see if we are. It depends on what we do. If we can close above this daily high closing price there, I think that we will effectively be breaking out of this zone, and we should be seeing higher prices come into play in a very short amount of time. From a low here, from a high here to the low, not the scam wick low, but the low of this move overall. Let's just make sure. I think that's a good low to take, yeah. I would very much anticipate that we see a retracement, a proper retracement of this range, and then by extent an extension as well. Whenever we do move higher, the expectation here is that we'll probably find turbulence at the golden ratio, right? That'd be my expectation. What a perfect area to find resistance to, right? If we take this like kind of best fitted lower high trend line here, maybe it's more like this. Let's just see. Something like this, yeah. Something like that. We'd be breaking just above it here, okay? Finding turbulence, probably back testing that trend line and then ripping. It's very common, you guys, very, very common to go to your golden ratio, back test the 0.5382 area for support, and then continue to rip. And depending on how you would draw this trend line, I think we'd find direct support right back at it after we break out. It's perfect. We have a little bump and run going on where you break out, you back test, and then you run. And that's awesome. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. So my expectation here is the same that it's been really for the past week, is that going into the 29th, which is about 3 days away from now, the 29th here of October, we have the FOMC meeting. On the 30th, we have Trump and Xi meeting. We'll probably pump going into these bullishly perceived events, going to the golden ratio, $3 to $3.12 in this time frame. And then likely in the beginning of November, I would expect we pull back, going to the 0.5382 area, something that is actually, what's crazy, what's pretty bullish here is that we're in such a bullish position that the pullback that I'm talking about will pull back to prices that are higher than we are now. So even though we're up a good, like let's say from this low here, from the 17th here we are less than 10 days later, 20% up right now from that low, you can still confidently buy here, and I would fully expect that the next pullback doesn't even interact with this price. Right, the statistical probability of us even getting close to here is actually limited in comparison to probably finding support at about 283. But again, the thought here being primarily that we're going to $3.12 to $3, somewhere in that range. We'll find turbulence there probably by the end of October, and then early November, like the first week specifically, we'll pull back to 283 to 266, find support here in this zone, and then continue to rally. And what's great, typically in any fib, and I want to move to the dark spot here so that we can just do a practice run. In any fib, typically you would expect, you have your move up, you come down, whatever. Here's your low, and then you're retracing. Any fib, you would expect once you go to the golden ratio that you go here somewhere, find resistance. If you find resistance here, the next step would be that you go up to the 786, 886, something in this range here. Okay. So if we're expecting resistance to the golden ratio, we come down, we'd likely stop at the 786, 886. Typically, that's what you'd expect. And then consolidate further, and then you get your massive breakout move to the extended targets, okay? Typically, that's what you would expect. But with XRP, things are a bit different, right? I think things are a bit different. Imagine we go to the golden ratio by the end of the month, like I think we're going to, okay? And then we consolidate back by the beginning of November, like I think we're going to this level. The idea would be that we go to the 786, 886 next, consolidate, and then we break out. But imagine, if you will, what we're going to do here. Let me see if I can take all this stuff back. Let's just see. Yes, I can take it all back. Okay. So imagine we go to the golden ratio, down, and then up to this level here. Okay. Imagine that we're up here right now. Okay. I'm going to delete everything else except for that little circle. Do you think? What do you think the perspective of the average market participant in crypto is going to be when XRP is right here? Whenever we zoom out, what's the average participant in crypto going to think when XRP is right here? They're all going to be we're going to new all-time highs. We're about to break out of a range that has held us down for multiple cycles. We're literally about to break out of this range that we've been consolidating in all year. since last December for about a year now. My thought, and the reason why we're expanding on this, is that my thought is simple, right? It's that likely after we find, if I can just get it on this high. Oh my God, it's so resistant. Let's see. Let's get it on there. After we find resistance at the golden ratio, after we come back down and find support here, I think we're just going to not even pay attention to this area, and we're going to bypass it entirely. In other words, November, by the middle of November, certainly going into the end of it, we should be well on our way to new all-time highs. $4.20, $5 and beyond. I really don't think we'll spend much time between $4 to $5. I think we're just going to teleport once we get above 366. We're going to teleport to prices that are above $5 and beyond. And by the end of November, I would really expect that we're somewhere between about $5 to $6.11, gearing us up properly for that $13 to $16 area that we're expecting by the end of the year, something like that, right? XRP, you guys, is going to do what it does every single cycle whenever it makes a move, right? The way that we just drew it there. Come on, hold on. Right? It's going to do the same thing that it does every time it makes a move. Is, oh, I didn't draw. I thought this was all one big move here. Let me draw it like this. Let's just draw from the low to the high there, right? We're going to do the same thing that we did here, right? This is actually, even what I have projected here, understand going to a $13 to a $16 price is actually slower than what we did back here, okay? If you think this is crazy, well, we did something crazier than that already this cycle. It's about the same size from a low to a high. It's about the same exact size, actually. But I have it here drawn to be out like 3 or 4 weeks slower. So we got like a month of extra time in the same correspondence to this move overall. We go back in time here. We've seen XRP move at this exact pace. Well, maybe a little bit of a faster pace even there. And then here as well. And this was a very weak cycle last time, right? We go back in time. And again, the thought here being that while this is a bigger move, look at the pace. Look at the pace that XRP grows at, right? It's faster. The whole point of this is that not only are the size is different, right? That's not really the main point. It's the pace that XRP moves at, right? And the pace that we have drawn here for a $16 to $13 target by the end of the year, I think it's more than adequate if we make these moves appropriately by the end of the month of November, which again, we're expecting that we would be somewhere around $5 or more by the end of November. Probably even above $6 by the end of November. And it all starts here, man. It's looking very bullish. Looking at the daily time frame. Sorry, that was a bit of an intense cough. They got to be intense sometimes, man. I don't want to explain it, but I'm an asthmatic. Let's just leave it at that. Higher lows here. Bullish divergence moving up, looking good. Overall, the RSI is a bit sad. Let's be fair. It actually is a bit sad right now because you're living predominantly below the 50 and you're not getting overbought at all. Not only that, but you typically do seem to find resistance here, here, or here. So a little bit higher up, maybe some turbulence, and then you continue to rally. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? I feel like that sounds exactly like what we were expecting with the price here. A little bit higher up, and we find some turbulence, and then we'll rally, right? And that actually comes very well in line with end of the month to beginning of the month pulling back. It's very, very well in line with the expectations that we have for the price action. Now, could we go higher? Could we get overbought? Sure, that's fine. But I would expect we probably do find turbulence here before we get overbought. And then instead of getting the same reactions that we had all these times, instead of moving down to the 40, we will likely find support at the 50 and then move higher. I would bet, I'm calling it right now. I feel like I'm Nostradamus right now. Once we find support at the 50, it's on, but we'll see. Stochastics, bullish, right? We're in the overbought zone, very, very bullish here. Typically when you get overbought, that's like the beginning of your bullish moves to come. MACD has yet to cross above the 0, but again, lining up with our expectations, if we do move up higher, likely sometime in the beginning of November, that first week or beyond, we will be crossing above the 0, and that'll be a time when XRP really starts to explode. I feel like the stars are all aligning, all in the right place to say that not only do we move up going into the end of this month, but November will be spectacular. Even if we move down a little bit in the beginning, that's fine, but November is going to be spectacular. Weekly time frame, RSI bouncing right off the 40. Some of the lowest readings that we've seen since July on the weekly time frame. Lower lows with higher lows in the price, hidden bullish divergence. Stochastics are right at the 50, perfect area to bounce, and it looks like you are bouncing here. It's beautiful. And the MACD, overall, it's in a bullish posturing. Yes, you're crossed red right now, but overall, you're in a bullish posturing, so I'm not worried about it. There's really not much to go off of with the weekly MACD. All that to say, though, same old, same old. We're just in this area, consolidating, waiting patiently, right here. Waiting patiently, and we're going to be breaking out. Is it a diamond top? I don't know. I don't think it is a diamond top. I just happen to draw it like a diamond. But high to low here. Come on, there we go. The expectation is simple. We will go above the pink line. And until we're done going above the pink line, I remain bullish. I remain bullish, and it's going to happen very, very fast. I don't have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said it all. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. We didn't look at the short-term stuff. 4 hour. I mean, the 4 hour looks good. You could find turbulence here, but whatever. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You could push higher. 1 hour time frame suggests bearish divergence, but you don't. You've kind of already moved down. You don't. I don't think you have bearish divergence actually. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if we were moving high. I would not be surprised if XRP was at higher prices by the end of the day than this, if we were pushing 270 or more. But if we do get tied up here, if we find turbulence here, whatever, it's not a big deal. We'll push higher going into the end of the month. Again, I think that we're going to move higher, having green days more or less going into the 29th and the 30th of this month. So that's the expectation. Take care. See you on the next one. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.